with regard to what Brzezinski has said about a nuclear deal being worked out with the Iranians and the U.S. and the P5+1, he has actually been for an anti-war position in the Middle East with regard to Iran, like most rational people would have who put the interests of America first. And that's a position that Americans like myself have. And you have to keep in mind that Brzezinski had actually warned about the Obama administration with regard to Israeli jets that might attack Iran, and it even said to the fact that those jets should be shot down if they use Iraqi airspace to get into Iran to attack Iran's nuclear facilities. So he has taken that position with regard to no war with Iran. So what he's saying is no surprise with the tweet that I read and that this is based on. However, you've also got to look at the wider agenda for the Middle East with regard to what's going on with the nuclear talks in Vienna currently. The demands that are being put on Iran are unreasonable. I mean, you're basically the State Department, which we know has a lot of Israel lobby influence, as I've mentioned before on Press TV, with regard to AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, and the neoconservatives, which are the upper echelon of the Israel lobby in America. They want war with Iran, and they want to sabotage those talks in any way that they can. And like I said, the demands that are being put on Iran with regard to inspection of the military sites when Iran is a signer of the NPT, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, when Israel, that sits there with 200 to 400 nukes, is not, and won't allow even the UN to go in and take a look at their nuclear facility at Dimona. It's a blatant double standard that the U.S. is pushing here, and I think, it's a very concerning situation, that even though Secretary Kerry has said that we would like a deal, but paraphrasing, of course, that we don't have to have one necessarily. If the deal manifests, it manifests. Well, look at the conditions that are being put upon Iran by the P5+1. You've got, like I said, inspections of the Iranian nuclear facilities, the military sites, and also sanction relief. That is up in the air. And even though the deadline is coming up on July 7th, you've got the Senate, the U.S. Senate, that has to weigh in by July 9th. And going back to that same Israel lobby influence that I've mentioned here, I just don't see it likely that the U.S. Senate is going to allow any kind of nuclear deal to go through. And all they would have to do, as I said previously, is invoke another round of sanctions on Iran, and the deal is off. So it's very, very concerning, but you've also got to look at the big picture here for the region. Iran has been blamed for instability in the region. Well, if you go back to where the real instability for the region came from, it has to be the neoconservative-inspired Iraq war for Israel, which was pushed by Hillary Clinton and also by John Kerry. That is what's destabilized the region, the neoconservative Iraq war for Israel, and it was based on the Israeli Likudnik Ode Genon plan, strategy for Israel in the 1980s, and we see that unfolding in Iraq. It's manifested in ISIS, which has now spread to Syria. We see it unfolding in Yemen. It unfolded in Libya. So if anybody's behind instability in the region, it's the Israeli Likudnik Ode Genon plan, which the neoconservatives, like I said, the upper echelon of the Israel lobby, have put into play in the Middle East. And there's no confirmed or no evidence that Iran even has a nuclear weapon. And like I said, Israel has 200 to 400. And other countries in the region which are hostile to Iran, such as the Saudis, they've already made mention that they're looking into the possibility of acquiring nuclear weapons, and it's all blamed on Iran trying to get one. Well, it goes back to Israel having 200 to 400 nuclear weapons, and Israel's aggression to its neighboring countries in Lebanon and helping the Syrian rebels against the Assad regime in Syria, and going back to when Israel deliberately attacked the U.S.'s liberty and killed Americans as well. So, you have to look at it from an unbiased perspective and not through a Zionist lens like the U.S. does.